definitely suggest planting barley ahead of corn as opposed to cereal rye. It's less likely to have a negative impact on the yield, whereas the cereal rye is great ahead of beans. Anytime we are planting after a cover crop, we always suggest that everyone continue to not only scout all their fields, but put a special emphasis on scouting fields that had cover crops in them, looking especially for things like soil-borne insects and root feeding below ground, getting out of the end rows and out into the field, checking on what all is going out there is always going to be important. Here in 2024, one big thing to scout for is definitely going to be insect pressure. We had a very mild winter in parts of the state, and when we did get cold, we had snow cover, so we do expect to see some additional disease and insect pressure that we normally don't have. So definitely want to encourage everyone to take the time to get out in their fields and scout and manage for things. Other things you can do after a cover crop to help reduce a detrimental effect include making sure that you have plenty of nitrogen for your following corn crop available to it at V4, and making sure that you are using a full rate fungicide and insecticide seed treatment to help avoid some pest issues.
This was corn in 2023, third week in October. This was planted barley at about 60 pounds per acre with a 15-inch row, split row Kinsey planter. Seed Right has backing plates that you can add to the planter that helps you to plant the smaller seeds with it. The idea is to plant in between last year's corn rows so that the 2024 corn crop is not competing for where the last year's cover crop was, and to give us a good area that all we have to do is run a row cleaner and clean this out of the row and have good seed to soil contact when we're planting into it. Laura mentioned running nitrogen ahead to make sure that you had some at V4. So we have a strip freshener that will move the residue out of the way. It will add nitrogen on each side of the row and then create the seed bed that we will then come back in and plant into. Something that I really like about that is ideally I'll come in here as soon as it's fit again and we'll actually make the strip. And with the idea of the barley taking up some of the nitrogen that we're going to be applying, and that way later on in the season as it dies, it is then releasing the nitrogen back into the soil. Probably run between 80 to 100 pounds of nitrogen on with the strip freshener, wait 2 to 3 weeks and plant into that is our plan for this year.